Hi, my name's Tim Johnson. Many people these days feel that there is something lacking in their lives, almost like a void or a hole that needs filling all the time. I was certainly one of those people for most of my life. I had a wonderful job. More importantly, I had my health. I had a wonderful, beautiful, loving family, a lovely wife, two beautiful daughters, everything going exceedingly well in my life. And yet there was this hole, almost felt empty inside of me that needed filling all of the time. A feeling of being discontent, and there was something lacking and something missing from my life. And I think I speak to many people today, not just those people who are or have been in addiction, but people who you would consider to be extremely fortunate in their lives and extremely successful and happy and healthy, and like I say, with wonderful careers and families and surrounded by the material things that are abundant in our society today. After getting sober, because I used to fill that void with, well, everything really, as most people do, but for me it was predominantly with alcohol and drugs. But when in my periods of sobriety, I filled that void with food, predominantly junk food, sugary food. I filled it with exercise, with sex, with whatever I could fill it with, and made me feel better for a short amount of time, things that gave me instant gratification. And there was a period of my life when I filled it with material stuff, jewellery, with modern trappings that surround people these days, the latest phones, the latest television, all sorts of wonderful and amazing gadgets that made me feel better about myself for a very short period of time before that void came back and that feeling of emptiness. And I was, from the outside, I looked to be a very happy and successful person. And even when I eventually got sober, sort of 3 years ago, here I was living in a wonderful place. I live here in a little village in Spain. There was nothing seemed to be lacking from my life. I was starting to get my health back, but yet there was still this little gap there somewhere, this little void that needed filling, this little feeling of discontent, if you like, of, what am I here for? What's my purpose, etc. And then I discovered something that has changed my life. And it's changed it radically, and it's common sense really, I suppose. But I listen to a lot of people. I have a lot of mentors that I listen to and talk to, and who are all sublimely happy and peaceful inside and don't have this gap, if you like, this feeling of emptiness. And they gave me some tips. And those tips changed my life radically. Because what they told me was there's actually nothing lacking in my life. And what we all need sometimes is a bit of purpose, yes, and I totally agree with that. But you have to start and realise that, first of all, how blessed you are to be here in the first place. How blessed you are to have all the things that you do have. The love in your life, your family, your health, and the really important things. And then you start gratitude. You start daily gratitude. And then you start giving service to others wherever you can, whether that means volunteering or just being kind and helpful to people and sitting and chatting with someone when they're lonely. Or then you realise that is your real purpose, that there is nothing lacking from your life. When you realise how blessed you are and how lucky you are to be breathing even, or even to be here in the first place. There's a video on this channel about you are a miracle. And that's true. It's 1 in 400 trillion chance of you being here. So you should be blessed. I write down what I'm grateful for every single day. I keep a journal. I'm fortunate enough to be retired now, so I give service, but I volunteer sort of 3 or 4 days a week, giving back to people who have helped me. And within that, and the gratitude, and being the best I can be, the best version of myself I can be for my family now, which is the healthiest and strongest, and that means diet and exercise and everything else. With that, with the gratitude, which I'm constantly thinking, and it reprograms your brain, let me tell you that now. And with the giving to other people in the service, and I'm not being trite, giving to other people can mean lots of things. It can mean sitting with an elderly relative who's lonely and chatting to them, or an elderly neighbour. It can mean carrying someone's bags for them. It can mean any small act of kindness. That's giving service. Any small acts of love. And within that love and kindness, within that gratitude, within that being the best version of yourself you can be, and within that always doing your best, I have a motto, sempre ego factum, always my best. If you give your best to all those things, then that hole closes up, let me tell you. It definitely closes up. And I've had that hole, that void, all of my adult life that I can remember, probably when I was a child as well. I can't remember that far back. But it's now closed, and I'm now fulfilled. Because I have a purpose, which is helping other people in my mind, that's good. But it's been the realizing of my blessings and counting them, if you like, and realizing how lucky I am, that has really changed me radically. I'm going to read you something. I follow a philosophy called the Tao Te Ching, and within that, it's not a religion or anything like that. It's a philosophy that has its base in nature. It's 4,000 years old, and it's Chinese in origin, and it has some beautiful sentiments and a lot of truth in it. And I'll read you my favourite verse, which is my lucky number actually, verse 44. And forgive me for glancing down, but I just need to read it to make sure I get it absolutely right. Fame or integrity, which is more important? Money or happiness, which is more valuable? Success or failure, which is more destructive? If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never be truly fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. And this is the important bit, this ending bit now. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world is yours. And that's the big thing. Because we may think that because we're programmed about what we should do, what we should own, what we should look like, what we should aspire to, and what we should be, and what other people think of us. All those things, none of those things matter, because you have everything already. It's already inside of you. That hole doesn't really exist. It's because you haven't yet realized what your blessings are. And I urge you today to think about this and think about what is truly important in your life. And those things for me are my family, my health, my happiness, my strength, and that's it. That's all that really matters to any of us. And just doing your best. Semper ego factum. So Carpe Diem. Seize the day today. Try filling that void with gratitude, service, and doing your best towards yourself, making yourself the best version of yourself you can be. Not just for you, but for the others around you. Much love to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.